Hey, welcome back. Brian Fitzpatrick here. Thanks for joining me for another video. Who wants to talk refinancing? Oh, I do. Okay, probably nobody does. But if you're interested in real estate, you should be paying attention to this kind of stuff because this is, in my opinion, the canary in the coal mine. A couple weeks ago, I put out a video that we're talking about foreclosures and how banks are really starting to ramp up for foreclosures. This is some additional evidence that supports that viewpoint. So with that in mind, let's get into it. Okay, this is an article from Atom Data Solutions. And again, its first quarter refinancing were unusually high. Mortgage refinance loans have more than doubled over the past year as homeowners rush to lock in historically low mortgage rates. Lenders refinanced about 2.55 million mortgages in the first quarter of this year, a 113% jump from the same time period, according to real estate research firm Atom Data Solution. So it has more than doubled. And keep in mind, we're comparing first quarter versus first quarter. And the first quarter of 2020 was really fairly straightforward and I don't want to say normal, but it was some sense of normalcy right up until the middle of March when things went off the rails quite a bit. But anyways, most of the data that we have suggests that this is a huge jump in the amount of refinances. Now, the reason that they give here is the rates are had dropped significantly, and that's true. A lot of people did refinance because the rates were low, but more importantly, I think what's happening now is you've got banks, and I did a video about this a couple of weeks ago. You've got banks that are petrified and really fearful because they have access to the information that you and I don't, and they know that there are still a huge number of people out there who do not have the ability to pay their mortgage. So they're trying to essentially get ahead of it and get people into a refinance situation where they can either extend the term, they can mark up the value of the home, they can increase the equity, get rid of the PMI perhaps. There's a lot of different things that they can do on behalf of the homeowner to keep them in the house, which is ultimately a good thing. But I smell trouble. And when we look at the markets where they had the biggest increase, you're going to be able to see that firsthand. All right. Homeowners lined up to refinance their loans in ever-growing numbers during the first quarter of 2021, making for a highly unusual quarterly increase in total lending activity for that time of year, said Todd Teta, Chief Product Officer at Atom Data Solutions. The home mortgage industry almost always slows down in winter, but not this year because of so many homeowners hopping on super low interest rates to reduce their monthly payments. Eventually, the refi side of the lending business will ease up after enough homeowners get in on the good deals. But there's no sign of that happening anytime soon, Teta adds. The metro areas seeing some of the largest upticks in refinance activity are Las Vegas, Milwaukee, Atlanta, and Providence, Rhode Island. Now, what do all four of those markets have in common? They all have a lot of distressed properties. So again, this is reinforcing the thinking that the banks are trying to stay ahead of foreclosures, and you can see it in all four of these markets. There are a lot of homes that are distressed. Now, this problem is not isolated just to these four markets. You've got other markets, specifically down in Miami, Florida. You've got problems in Chicago. You've got issues in Los Angeles. But these are by far the biggest movers because you've got a big number of distressed properties in here. Hey, Future Brian here. Sorry for the interruption, but I realized as I watched back this video that I talk a lot about distressed properties, and it would make a lot more sense to show it here on my screen so that you can see it for yourself rather than me talk about it and you think, what in the world is this guy talking about? So this is a map of the entire United States, and it shows distressed properties. And the legend down here shows the concentration of distressed properties. The deeper shade of red, the higher the concentration of distressed properties in that particular area. So you can see New York is a deep red in many different parts of New York City, actually anywhere along the I-95 corridor, all the way from Washington, D.C. up to middle of Connecticut. And then again, in the article that we were just looking at, they focused on Providence and the fact that there are a number of unusually high number of refinances in the Providence market. And you can see all of these distressed properties. Now, there's not nearly as many properties in Providence as there are in, say, New York. So as a percentage of properties that have been refinanced, it shows a much larger increase than it would in a place like, say, New York. But let's take a look at some of the other cities as well. We also talked about Atlanta. Look at Atlanta. Same story down here. Lots and lots of red. Lots of distressed properties down in Atlanta. We talked a little bit about Chicago. Again, Chicago is a real problem area. Milwaukee. This is the other one that was mentioned in the article. And look at all that red. Again, these are deep shades of red. So there are a ton of distressed properties in these markets. Zoom out again, and let's take a look at Las Vegas. Now, Las Vegas was one of the hardest hit cities back in 2008, 2009. They lost, I think it was almost 40%. It was like 40% of the value of their homes back in 2008, 2009 when the market collapsed. And you can see here it is once again. You've got a ton of distressed properties that, you know, it's going to get ugly for a lot of folks. And then just kind of zooming out, we also talked about Los Angeles. Again, here's in Los Angeles. Look at all this. Oh, world of hurt. A lot of pain is going to be inflicted out there. And then we also talked about Miami. Look at this. Deep red. All the way from Homestead up to essentially West Palm Beach. So that's why I talk about distressed properties all the time. This is really an indicator of what's to come. So buckle up. It's going to be a crazy ride. Again, once all these moratoriums, eviction moratoriums and the forbearance ends, it is going to get very interesting, and I think very quick too. So stay tuned. All right, let's take a quick look at this chart here real quick, which I find even a more telling sign of what's actually happening here. These are the top 10 refi home mortgage lenders in the first quarter by number of home loans refinanced. Look at the names here: Quicken Loans, Freedom Mortgage, Loan Depot, United Wholesale Mortgage, and Wells Fargo. That is about 75% of that piece of pie that is that are from banks that cater to less qualified homeowners credit-wise. So again, I think it's an indication that a lot of these refinances were born out of the bank reaching out to the homeowner and saying, hey, look, forbearance is ending. Here's the situation that you're in. Here's what we can do for you. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out here over the next couple of months as these eviction moratoriums end and the forbearance comes to an end as well. Well, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure that you smash that like button and hit the subscribe button to be notified of additional videos. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.